Hey, I'm Jess, and welcome to a gentle practice. So what I love about gentle is it's still a powerful practice. It's just highly accessible because we're going to use things like props to bring the ground up to us. And it's a really good means of starting a conversation with your body. So it's always you versus your next possible edge. That's applicable in all of our practices, but in gentle, it's top of mind. So we're going to get started. We're going to start in child's pose. Now, traditionally, we would bring our knees as wide as the mat. You have the option to bring them underneath you. You can stay even up in tabletop and find a way to walk your hands down if that's more comfortable. For our purposes, I'm going to start with knees wide, hips low. Again, you can use blocks to bring the ground up underneath your head or underneath your hands. Breathe in. And just soften to start. Hug your belly button in and up. You're going to breathe into that smaller container now. Inhale up to table. You're going to weave your right hand underneath your left shoulder. Your aim here is to come down to the outside edge of your shoulder and head down to the floor. Keep the posture active by bringing your opposite hand above your head. Okay, breathe in. Press into your hand that's in contact with the floor. Open your chest up. Look up. One more here. Keep pressing into that top hand. Let's walk ourselves back through center to the opposite edge. So I'm taking the time to land my outside edge to the floor. And here, with this contact point above my head, I'm working on stacking my shoulders. 2 more breaths. Come to tabletop. Downward facing dog. Your middle fingers will point to 12 o'clock, and your pinky finger can find the edge of your mat. Feet are at hip distance. If you want to modify by staying in tabletop, that suits fine. Pop your butt up towards the ceiling. Create an active down dog. Hug your belly in. Lift your heels up. Walk your feet to your hands. Hands back to your feet. You can move into ragdoll with hands to opposite elbows, or you can choose to rest on 2 blocks. What I want you to do here is create an active connection down to the floor through your legs and a softness through your chest melting towards your thighs. While your eyes open, tune into the sensation of your breath. All right, let's go. Heel toe your feet into touch. Halfway lift, belly button in and up. Forward fold. Extended mountain, go up. Hands to heart on your exhale. Extended mountain. Forward fold, soften in your knees. Halfway lift. Fold down. Again, extended mountain. Connect from your feet through your fingertips. Forward fold. Hug in your low belly. Halfway lift. And melt down. Last time, go up. Keep a stitch in your front body. Open your chest up, up, up. Melt down. Halfway lift. And forward fold. Move to chair pose. Traditionally in chair, your toes are together with your heels slightly apart. You can modify by adding space. But I want you to find integration in your legs. You're not just going to collapse them in towards one another. And hug in. Biceps beside your ears. Tuck your tailbone down. Now we sit lower. Move your eyes up higher than the horizon. In. Sit. And part of the challenge is staying open. Right, as sensation comes up, we might have a tendency to collapse in. One more here. Forward fold. Halfway lift, lengthen through the back of your neck. And melt down. Come up to stand, warrior one, right foot back. So in gentle, we'll always take it as a step back. Go for a nice wide stance. Here, you're playing with how deep you take your lunge. I want you to challenge yourself, whatever that looks like. Track this knee to the pinky toe edge. Last breath. Hands to hips. Take a big step up, maybe two. Step your opposite foot back. So part of my cue point is going to be squaring my hips up to the front edge of my mat. So drawing, for now, my right hip back. You'll recreate that little tuck of your tailbone. From the ground up, lift. For 2. 1. Hands to your hips, step to the top of your mat. Sweep up to extended mountain. Forward fold, melt down. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Chair pose. Tuck your tail. Shift your biceps beside your ears. Breathe in. Sit lower. You might be surprised to find space, like when the teacher calls lower and all of a sudden you can like sink your butt lower. Don't make it good or bad, it's just like you didn't have an awareness and then you stepped into possibility. One more and forward fold. Halfway lift, bring your hips over your heels. Melt down. Come up to stand. Warrior one, right foot back. Palms turn to face each other. What are the micro adjustments you need to do in your practice to create that squaring action, to root down into your feet? Breathe in. Hands to hips, switch sides. Hands to your hips. Step to the top of your mat. Extended mountain. Forward fold. Halfway lift. And melt down. Chair pose. Bring your hands to your heart. We'll step our right foot back into crescent lunge. In your crescent lunge, you have the option to modify, knee down. I want you to drive down through your front foot. That's totally fine here today. If you want to explore a fuller version of the posture, you'll straighten out your back knee. There's a micro bend. Back leg is nice and strong. Breathe in. Exhale out. Hands to your heart. We're going to twist over your front knee. So gentle, it's an open twist. One hand to your hip, one hand to your knee. As you exhale, open your chest. Keep rooting into your back foot. If you come off balance or it gets a little bit windy wherever you are, that's fine too. Move to warrior two. Flip your front palm reverse. Come back to warrior two. Hands to your hips, step to the top of your mat. Reach up and forward fold. Let it go. Halfway lift. Melt down. Chair. Hands to your heart, so you're creating this lock through your torso. Left heel comes up, left toe step back. Again, you can always train track your feet. And your front knee, you want it stacked over your heel, but not past it. Hands to heart. Okay, we're going to twist the opposite side. Create that open twist. And now I have this anchoring point on my knee. I can press my knee back into my hand, so using it to help twist myself open. Stay one more. Open up to warrior two. Eyes over your front fingers. Flip your front palm reverse, go back. Come back to warrior two. Hands to hips, step to the top. Sweep up, extended mountain. Forward fold. Halfway lift. You can melt your chest down. Come up to stand. We'll move to eagle, right side. So traditionally, that might look like right arm goes under, right leg goes over. Gentle, move it to a kickstand. But you can still create a lot of muscle action here by hugging into center, zipping up through your middle, and go for like an I Dream of Jeannie or grabbing onto opposite shoulders. Eyes up and high. Breathe in. Out. One more. Switch sides. Now, like the kickstand, you're gonna root in. Add that bend in your standing knee. From the floor, I'm just like pressing down, rooting down. Draw your shoulder blades in towards your spine. Release. Move to standing single leg raise, right leg up. Grab for your right knee. Flex your toes up, and you'll open up. Keep your shoulders over your hips. Knee back to center. We're gonna shift to airplane pose. So here, your foot can come into a kickstand if that's what you're working on today. Palms alongside your hips, shoulders back. Or you work on bringing your body parallel with the floor. Breathe in. Out. Come back up to stand. Standing single leg raise, left side. Your plumb line is center line. So now your right hip will stay underneath you, left knee in. You can always use like a towel or a strap to lasso your foot. Anything you need to make it more accessible. That can include grabbing onto a wall. Open yourself up. Root down into your standing foot. Come back to center. Shift to airplane. Option for a little kickstand on the ground. Palms alongside your hips. You're gonna open up through your chest by drawing your shoulders in. And maybe for you today, you're gonna play with bringing your foot down, kicking it back up, right? Because you're gonna build the practice, pose over pose, practice over practice. One more here. Move to Tadasana, toes to touch. This is a foundational posture in our practice, and there's a way to animate it so you can stay active and integrated. Zip up, root down through your hands. Extended mountain. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Melt down. We're gonna make our way down to the ground. You can take an inversion of your choice here. In gentle, traditionally we go for waterfall with your hips on a block. You can roll up, tuck a block underneath your hips. Just rest with your feet up. And if you don't have a block with you today, you can just come down to your palms. Your practice here is just taking rest. Tune into what you created in the last 15 minutes or so. I'm hoping you can pick up on your heartbeat, maybe a little bit of sweat. Bend at your knees, let your feet hang heavy. And remove your hands. Hug your knees into your chest. We'll move to supine twist. Drop your knees towards the right side. Option for blocks under your knees for support. Look to the left. Okay, let's go to the opposite side. So knees drop to the left, look to the right. I want the full right shoulder to stay in contact with the floor. Come back to center. Hug your knees into your chest. Acknowledge what you can actually create in 15 minutes when you give yourself some space. Hug in. And you'll move to final savasana. Take rest, palms up to the ceiling. And let your breath return to its natural state. When you're ready, I want you to wiggle out your fingers and your toes. Introduce life back in with a full body stretch. You'll roll to your left side. Tuck your knees up. You're gonna use your bicep like a pillow. Roll up to a seated position. Sitting up nice and tall. Your hands at your heart. Acknowledge yourself, your practice. Thumbs to forehead center. The light in me acknowledges the light in you. Thank you so much for sharing your gentle practice with me. Namaste.